obviously a lot of people, a lot of black people, quite frankly, are finicky and either upset or concerned, we'll say, because it's been predominantly the African American community that's been impacted by the fact that marijuana has been illegal. So is there any concerted effort to remedy that situation? People who may be returning citizens due to marijuana charges, are they getting the first crack at making a living from the industry that kind of took away part of their life?
So on the adult use side, under the ballot initiative, we have a mandate to look at a social equity program. So a method by which we can positively impact disproportionately impacted communities. So in order to identify those communities, we looked at factors such as marijuana conviction rates as well as poverty levels. And there are 19 communities in Michigan now where we're offering specific services to residents of those communities so that they can get in and start businesses. And those include tremendous fee reductions, up to 60% off of the fees that we charge as an agency, and access to free or cheaper resources when it comes to sort of professional services or guidance at working through that process. So we think it's intended to do just that, to help those individuals who were specifically impacted get back into the industry. And then on the policy side, which this is a little bit beyond my scope, but there's a lot of discussion about expungement, and I think that's something that's going to get a lot of attention as well. There are bills pending in the legislature in order to potentially wipe away some criminal histories of individuals that specifically were charged and convicted with crimes related to marijuana.
If that's the case, and there is this concerted effort to help people who are returning citizens for a legitimate reason, is that a factor in their application for certain things? The fact that it's kind of like a catch-22. Like, if I have a felony charge for drugs, can I open a marijuana business, but I only got the felony charge from marijuana?
Sure.
So how does that factor into that?
So anyone with a conviction related to marijuana in their history, under the Medical Act, is in certain circumstances not eligible for licensure. But under the Adult Use Act, there's no such prohibition. So I think that presents an opportunity. And under that social equity program that the agency is administering, there are actually fee reductions related to having a specific history of marijuana convictions. So any group that has more than 50% of the membership who has a marijuana conviction in their history gets an extra 25% off all of those application fees and access to those services we provide, which include some specific sort of one-on-one attention with that application process to help them get into the business. And one of the primary goals of that social equity program is to ensure that those businesses stay in business for more than 5 years. Okay. So the data we looked at is about 50% of small businesses fail within the first 5 years. So we want to provide resources that ensure that those that get in are successful and can stay in the business long term to provide that economic opportunity. So
you're not only providing an easier avenue for just communities in general that have been impacted, but it sounds like somewhat of doubling down on people who were impacted directly and have that on their record.
Absolutely. We really want to focus in on those individuals and those communities that were specifically impacted, while also giving deference to how the community wants to approach it. So several of those communities that we've identified as being disproportionately impacted have opted out of allowing the facilities there. So that specific opportunity for those community members might not be available where they live. We're still going to help them to provide opportunities to get into the industry from an employment standpoint. So connect them with other licensees in the space so they may be able to get a job. And that's also an opportunity for those who may not want to start their own business, but want to engage in mentorship programs or opportunities just to learn about the industry. And to that end, we require all the applicants for licensure under the ballot initiative to have their own social equity plan. They tell us how they're going to help impact these communities positively, and those are great partnerships for us to have because they're the ones that know how to operate in the industry. We issue licenses, understand those processes, but we want to partner with professionals who provide services and guidance, as well as individuals who are actually there to tell those stories about how to run a business successfully in this new space. And we also want to make sure that at least 50% of the licenses issued in any community that's been disproportionately impacted are given to members of that community. So we can't specifically restrict that, but that's the goal. So we'll be able to gauge our success if we're actually meeting that goal.